So here it is. Here it is. Black Lightning is here. The season premiere is aired last night on the CW, and I wanted to do a review because this show really is has been looking good since the first trailer. I was really curious to see where it will go, and I wanted to know how different it would be to the current CW shows from DC characters. And I have to say, this series is good. You know, this first episode blew me away. Like, I was watching it and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. This is how good it was. And let me tell you right now that I understand why the showrunners wants to separate this show from the other CW series, especially the Arrowverse. Why? Because the writing is so different and it looks so grounded in reality. Of course, there is someone using powers and is a hero and blah blah blah, but it is not your light. It is not your typical superhero TV show with a bad guy and a good guy and they fight and then there's a city to save and all. There's really a lot of political message in this series, and I really like how it's grounded. You really feel like the world is really realistic, and the problems they're dealing with is really the problems that happen in the real world, if that makes sense. The performances, the acting, the writing, the fight scenes, all are so good, so realistic, so grounded. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but this show just impressed me in a level I can't even explain. This was so good, so great. But let me get deep in the story. So the story is basically Black Lightning went in retirement, you know. They haven't really explained why in this episode why he stopped being a hero, but that's the deal at the beginning of the episode. Black Lightning is gone, and the city it's been gone for 9 years, by the way, and the city really is going to shit. But Black Lightning has decided to help the people of the city in a different way. How? By being a principal in a high school. He's a principal and he's helping the community the best he can without fighting the bad guys. Until this event that involves his daughters happen and then forces him, to come out of the shadows and fight crime again. And that's basically the plot of this first episode. And it's really well executed. The way I said it, you can be like, oh, this is okay. But it's so well executed that it really gives you an idea of the concept they're going with this series. And it's really great. But let me just make it clear, this is not an origin story, obviously. They don't explain how he got his powers, at least not in this episode. This is not an episode where someone is trying to learn how to use their abilities. No. Right out of the gates, Black Lightning is already a hero. He knows how to use his powers. He knows how to fight. And then we get already into the story and they get us invested in these characters and they just want us to want to see more. That's what I got, the vibe I got from this episode. They want you to be like, oh, I want to know more about how he became Black Lightning, but I also want to know more about where it's going. That's what's so good about this. Let me just talk about a little bit about the characters I liked, except from the main character himself. First of all, I want to say that I already love the bad guy. His name is Tobias Whale. He's a character from the comics. His first appearance was in Black Lightning #1 in 1977. So he's this typical bad guy. Is the main villain of most of Black Lightning comics. He's like the Kingpin to Daredevil, basically. So yeah, and the guy who plays him is so good. Is in this episode is only in like two scenes, and I already feel intimidated by him. Every scene he was in, he was so charismatic, so intimidating. Like, I can't wait to see more of him. He was good, man. Also, I like both of his daughters, Jennifer Pierce and Anissa Pierce, uh, played respectively by Nafessa Williams and China McClain. So Jennifer Pierce is the older one, not the youngest one, and she's going through puberty, and she's always on her phone, you know basically teenagers these days. She wants to party, she wants to be on Instagram all the time, and then you have the older one, which is Anissa Pierce, and she's the big sister. She controls everything. But what I like about the character, it looks like she knows how to fight as well. She fights back, and she knows how to stand for herself. And I really like. But what I like the most is the dynamic between and the chemistry as well between the daughters and the father. They really work well together, and you really feel the sense of a family, especially a black family. You know, it's really important to represent what a black family looks like on the small screen as well as on the big screen. It has to be done right, and I think they nailed that part and that aspect of the show, and I really like that as well. At the end, guys, I really enjoyed this first episode, this pilot. I love the concept. I like the fight scenes. I like the performances, the acting, the writing. I really was looking for something to nitpick, at least something that I didn't like or didn't enjoy or anything. And I couldn't find it, man. This pilot was perfect from start to finish. I'm going to give Black Lightning episode 1, season 1 an A plus. Absolutely. If you haven't watched it, look for it. Go anywhere you can find it. Please watch this series. You need to support it. This needs to go. You need we need to make sure this series is a success, so that we can get more of this kind of storytelling, and so that the CW also can give us more of this in the DC TV shows, because this is for me the best DC TV show CW has done so far. When you count all the DC Arrowverse TV shows, The Flash, Arrow, yeah, it's better than all these series. It's just that good. It's not goofy. It's not unrealistic. There's not something when you go, yeah, this looks too cartoonish. No, it was really good. Despite its budget being as the same as other series like The Flash or Legends of Tomorrow, it really resembled more the Netflix series that Marvel is doing on Netflix. Even though it's not the same budget as, say, Luke Cage or Daredevil, but they did pull off a really respectable TV series that I can be proud of, despite its budgets being also as low as the other CW series. And I think it's important that the CW understands that they can tell good stories that are not, too unrealistic, and hide behind the excuse of a low budget. And Black Lightning proves that we can have good series with low budget that have good acting and really, really, really good writing. That's my thoughts on the pilot for Black Lightning. If you watched it, let me know what you thought of it. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Bye bye.
Light nigga, dark nigga, faux nigga, real nigga, rich nigga, po nigga, house nigga, feel nigga, still nigga, still nigga.